Okay, welcoming everybody to our chapter number 8. We're going to connect to Kindle and see if it'll come in. You guys see the Kindle?
No.
Oh, what is
No.
it?
All right, do you hit share screen, share content? Are you hitting that?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, that's what's missing.
That
Okay.
little green button.
Yeah.
Yeah, the green button.
There you go.
Mhm. With the plus on it.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Okay. You guys still don't see it, huh?
No.
No.
Okay. I don't know what's the matter. What's going on here? Okay, I did share screen. Oh, okay. Let me try this. Let me try this again. Okay. All right, let's try. Share screen. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
All right.
You got an A, Gina.
Yay.
I hope I'm still recording. I can't remember. Anyway, Heavenly Father, we ask that you bless us this evening. May you guide and protect us and allow our minds to grow with your power and strength. So be it. As we open for our class this evening. Living Spring, Attentive Workers. Who wants to read?
I will.
Okay, go.
Okay. But the one who always strives to abide by the perfect law of freedom, who does not neglect what he has heard, but does it, he will be blessed in all that he does. James 1:25. Above all, disciples of the good news, those who really follow the master, understand their responsibilities and render sincere reverence to the law of liberty, knowing full well that they will reap what they have sown. They know that judges are held accountable to the court. The judges are held accountable to the court.
Did I go too far? Okay.
I think so. Administrators, okay, now go up. Answer to their duties. Workers will be responsible for their obligations, and all persons working for progress and order, for the light and the good in their own situation. Persevere in making use of the abilities they have received from divine providence, attentive to the lessons of the truth, and devoted to the good works entrusted by them, to them by the higher powers of the earth.
Okay, let's stop right there. And you want to expound on what you read?
Well, they're talking karma. So it seems.
What they have sown, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so that you're right there. That sounds like the work that you have put in is the work that will show.
Oh, and it also says answer for their duties. Workers will be responsible for their obligations. So you gotta step up.
Very
So,
good.
Yeah, under their responsibilities, like even if they're talking about us, if it's our responsibility and we are following the law, right? Knowing full well that we will reap what we sow. So, what's that noise? That shivering? shifting.
Oh, I was shifting a paper. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. You can go ahead, Rebecca.
I'm sorry. I was
No,
just
you
shifting.
can talk. Go ahead and share.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good now. I'm good.
No, I was welcoming you to come and share if you want to share.
Well, I just still go back to what we studied last week, the fruits of our, what was it? The fruits of our, the fruits of, what was it? The fruits of the tree or something? What was it we were talking about?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I thought a lot about it, and I thought, I think what that meant to me was that we are the fruit of our ancestors. We are what our ancestors produced. And a lot of times, we will carry on their karma. We will take on what they have not finished, like their life's work, family's work. I think that we take it on indirectly.
Well, I think you're onto something in terms of sharing in a responsibility of something, as a group agreement to maybe possibly carry on something. But that's what it sounds like you're coming from.
We pick our families, we go into them for unfinished business.
And also opportunity, wouldn't you say, to develop in a certain way? I guess that is unfinished business, right?
Well, and here, that it says that we've all received divinity abilities and gifts, which we're supposed to use and to the best of our ability. And I think also to develop, unfold it for whatever it might be, because you just never know.
Where you see the gifts?
Right. Well, it says persevere in making use of the abilities they have received from divine providence.
Wait a minute, where are you at? The top?
Yeah.
Second page, first paragraph.
Okay. All persons working for the progress and order of light and good in their situation.
Persevere.
Making use of the abilities they have received. Okay, got it. Yeah.
So that's our job.
And it seems like it's innate, we choose it or we don't, right? To trust our work to the higher power. And that's the goal.
A lot of times it's people, well, I've heard people say that they're not sure what their calling is or what they're supposed to be doing, and how to serve, just things like that. So I don't know what to say to that.
Right. And a lot of times, like myself, for instance, when I was growing up, I never knew what I wanted to be. I always asked, though. I did. I said, I don't know what I want. And then I would think of an idea and I'd go in that direction. I'm like, nah, I'm not feeling that. And on and on and on. I couldn't figure it out. Anything that I was passionate about. Probably because there wasn't anything, being honest, I wasn't passionate about a whole lot. But so I can see where a person might get a little lost in trying to figure it out, what they want to do, but not giving up and just settling, I guess, for whatever they can do, as long as they keep moving towards the light, being of whatever your abilities are, using your abilities to the best that you can, and the lesson of truth and being devoted to God in the works is how I'm reading it. Long as you maintain that course, it seems like you are working your divine grace. Anyway.
Good. back to what is it Christine? Was that,
Rebecca.
Rebecca, yeah, was saying about the family lineage.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
could you explain what you meant by that? No? Did I lose anything?
Becky.
Becky, where you at?
I'm sorry, guys, I was talking to the mute.
Oh.
Okay. I do that a lot. Yes.
You know, I just see it this way, that I come from a family who has a responsibility to continue our grandparents and our great-grandparents' life's work.
Mhm.
You know, they fought for social justice, and part of me rings in my head, we need to continue this, but in the name of God, like question stuff, and I recognize that there's good and there's evil.
Mhm.
And if you don't recognize evil, then if everything's good, then you forgive everything. And I guess, we should forgive everything, but there comes a time when people have to take a stand and say, stop. We're not doing that anymore. We've forgiven you enough. Especially with racism, we have to say, stop. We've forgiven you long enough. Our grandparents went through this. Now you want us to go through this? We're not. We're going to say stop. We're going to do it peacefully. We're going to do it. Equality isn't given and justice isn't given until we fight for it. And we don't mean by killing people or hurting people or violence, but through love. And through showing other people their injustices and their unfairness, like there's two double standards in the world. There's justice and there's an injustice. And some people get justice and some of us never get it.
Mhm.
So
Well, look at all that's going on in the news.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Did you see Tyree's mother?
Yeah,
She was
she's
so a woman of God, because only she could have said it that way. She said, let there be, she didn't want, she said her son, God chose her son to be the example, or to now bring in a law that we need to recognize police brutality. We are not animals because our skin is a different color than white folks. We are still people, and until they see us as God's children, were things going to change? Because people think of us as below them. But since we're talking about God's children, that's who we are. We are God's children. We're just a different shade of we just come in a different flavor, in a different shade. But I bleed just like my neighbors do. I cry just like my neighbors do. I feel just like my neighbors do. I love, and sometimes I get angry just like my neighbors do. So until we can get society to see us as God's children too, especially the Bible thumpers, the right wing, that they're very, God said this, God said that. Well, when did God last talk to you? Because I thought we were all God's children.
Well, we are.
I think it's just even the folks that are homeless, that are out there trying to make it, and all kinds, when we do our 6 o'clock prayer, and it's like everybody, those that are suffering, those that are sick, those that are mentally ill, and all stuff like that has no color. That's just all even. We're trying to, learn our lessons. I guess that's the thing. Whatever it is, we're gonna learn our lessons.
I saw an amazing. Oh, sorry. I interrupted.
No, you're fine.
Okay. I saw an amazing program with Bishop Desmond Tutu from South Africa, and also the Dalai Lama. And what I thought that South Africa did was amazing, and that they handed back the government to Mandela became the president, and but they didn't want any retribution. They did, the Dutch didn't want any retribution for the atrocities they had created. And Tutu said this, okay, we will not prosecute you, but you must go in front of the families of the people that you murdered and say what happened and what you did and confess.
Wow.
And that, and then allowed the people, families of the people who had been murdered to forgive them or not, or whatever. But the whole thing changed.
Well, isn't that going to be the parallel that we want right now with the police brutality? Those
Of
5
course.
guys that killed Tyree,
Of course.
we want them to admit what they did and
Yes.
ask for forgiveness, because how in God's name could you kill another human being like that? Wouldn't you feel bad if you killed a dog like that?
Of course.
This is a human being, and if only they had saw him as one, as a skateboarder, as a photographer, as a son, as a dad,
Right.
as a brother. It's just.
People
So I
need an
believe-
education. Yeah.
But I believe you guys right now that they are in the position to
do that.
rerun the script through their mind, rerun their actions. They have the time now to review,
Yeah, yes.
to review their personalities. That's, they're God's children too. So we have to pray that they make it past their anger, their behavior, the abusive energy that's in their space. I mean, there's a lot of things that take place for a person to take on this personality. And like you were saying, this is the beginning of a new growth. It has to be purged in order for us to take the next step. And so, and it's not always easy for them to say, I was wrong. But with everybody being on board, they have to admit a part of this. They have to accept what has happened. And hopefully, if hopefully they come out on the other side. And like you're right, like the mother said, I believe my son was sent here for this exact position. And she's praying for them and their families, the police officers and their family. And that's the right thing to do.
Right.
Even all of these right-wing people, we have to continue praying for peace and harmony on this planet. We have to keep praying that people will stop this lying just because they're greedy or want a position just to get money.
Yeah, but along with the prayers, we need to stand up and show the world the injustice, or if not, it's not going to go away.
Right. Yeah, they're sweeping underneath the rug.
Light to the darkness.
Well, that's why he's this beautiful example. That whole scenario is coming out. But I do agree that whatever stand we want to take on a political level, that it would be good if we all stood together. I agree with that.
Absolutely.
And I think that
I don't think that it's a political statement, it's a human statement.
A human statement, true.
Statement.
But I was thinking about the politicians and their, but anyway, I don't want to go too far off of this context. But yeah, I agree. We have to stand up for what we believe and carry that forward.
Right.
Yeah, because forgiveness is just not going to do it. Okay, we forgive you. Don't do it again. No, it continues to happen.
No, nobody said. Sorry,
Yes.
I don't think anybody is saying that. Forgiveness is so you can release your anger, your energy, your attachment to your judgment on that person. So you forgive to free you. You don't give to give them a free pass.
Right, but our families have suffered for 400 years. And so my thing is, we forgive, we're still forgiving, but we also have to stand up with the forgiveness.
But one thing we don't know, Rebecca, is who we were in our last lifetime, unless God opens that door for you to see. And we have, like you were saying earlier, we're all God's children. With that being said, we can be placed wherever we are needed, in any family, in any country, in any situation, in any body, meaning the color of your skin, regardless to the color. We are all God's children, and we can go where we are needed to make a difference. And so when you say ancestors, I'm thinking you're right. There's if you're in this particular body, you can take on those ancestors and say, yeah, they fought. I'm with them. I agree with them, and so on. But we don't know who we were last lifetime, and we don't know what part we actually played. And so, and I think too that sometimes that, like, for instance, here's a scenario. There's this man that comes on, he was on Phil Donahue, not Phil, my gosh.
Sorry.
What's his name? His name is Phil, isn't it? The guy.
Oh, Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
Now he's on here because he has been scammed over $200,000. So these girls would come and he'd meet them on social media, and they'd say that they were kidnapped, or some voice would come calling him, talking about the girl's kidnapped. If you want her, you got to pay. And it was never more than $200 or $300 or $100. Well, this has gone on for a very long time. And so, and you know how Dr. Phil is, well, they do an investigation. All of the faces that this man had was shown that, these particular women, they were never those women. And those women came on and told him, I never spoke to you. I've never seen you before. I don't know who you are. This is my life over here. And to show, and Dr. Phil took the time to investigate through all of his life, all this goings on, to show to him that he's being scammed. Now, that being said, as a scenario, this person could be a person who has been in power and was just mistreating any and everybody, just taking people's money. So for him to learn this embarrassing, humiliating situation, it had to be on TV for everybody to see. You never know what a lesson could be, who is going to be the victim, or who is going to learn from a lesson. We just don't. God is amazing to me, and we can't box God. We can't box him. Like you were saying, even about the religious people, you can't box him because we don't know. I'm just saying that's one scenario. As a lesson, we have no idea where we're going to go to show or to work out something, or to help a body of people, or to help ourselves, whatever it is, whatever that growth is, there's no way of knowing. But I think we are all players, we're all participants, and we're all here to continue moving forward. If it is racism, which we know is live and living, and that's our fight for this lifetime, and let's fight on. Let's fight for the right for everybody to be treated fairly. That makes sense. But and if that's our divine province, then that's what we do. If that's the lesson of truth and devoted, and we being devoted to do that, then that's our mission. There's no way to say, it's not in stone, that somebody can't come back and learn a different way. And let's say, we know families, we come in these families, and let's say you're the one that wants to move forward and the rest of the family doesn't. Well, they'll go into another family, similar, maybe even the same race, but similar circumstances for them to keep moving, to grow from. Because we don't stop growing just because our brothers and sisters don't want to catch up to where we are. like God is amazing. Anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I like it. And yes, I believe we really all have to be principled in our lives, where we want to put our energy, and what you stand for is very, 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 very important.
Very important. And Rebecca, you're
Very
right.
important.
We need to fight more
Yeah.
for the justice that Jesus came here and gave up his life for us to learn from. That makes sense.
Mhm.
Okay, Sonia.
You know, mhm.
Go ahead, Val.
Oh no, I was just going to use an. I remember being very outraged in the 60s, and watching all the dogs being sicked on protesters, and the hoses and all this, and then the Black Panthers, the smart, wonderful, amazing people that got shut down. And I remember my mom saying to me, it's very possible that, part of retribution or part of their growth, maybe they were slave ship owners, and maybe they owned slaves and came back out fighting it, learning a lesson of what it is to be oppressed, or to have to then stand up. So
Right.
again, yeah, we don't know what we did last time.
No,
really
we don't. We
Or
can
what
we
part
can
we
kind of
played.
have a clue from where we
Yeah.
are,
Right.
right. Because
right.
we're not going to go any past what we've earned. So, we just read that,
Mhm.
yeah. So go ahead.
I wanted to add, there's one thing that I've always believed and still do. We're still human. We still feel. I mean, for as much as you deserve it, whatever it doesn't, that's why we're human. And to me, it's like when, somebody dies, that was their time, whatever you want to call it. It still hurts. People are still human. That's still somebody's loved one. That's still, whatever it might be. So to me, it's like, you already knew it was going to happen. And that's the worst thing I used to hear in the hospital. Well, you already knew. And I'm like, well, it doesn't mean it hurts any less if you already knew.
Exactly.
I agree with that. Yeah.
So anyway, that's just
we are human, and we have emotions that other beings, I think, in other places don't. We have free will, and the human heart is a very amazing
I guess if it didn't
organ.
hurt, it didn't matter, then we'd continue to move on.
right. That's right. But I think, that the hurt teaches you something.
Okay, Sonia. We can't hear you. You put yourself on mute.
I said somebody was knocking on my door.
Okay, we're ready.
Where are we at?
That was Ed knocking on my door. So I don't think so.
Characterized by such attitudes.
Is that where I'm at? Right. Characterized by such attitude, crisis collaborators, whether statespersons or janitors, will be fulfilling their duty in the area in which they are to act and serve. As naturally as they interact with oxygen in the process of breathing, if they are in a supervisory position, they do not wait for others to remind them about their responsibilities. If they are.
So, but isn't that what we were saying pretty much?
I don't know.
Well, see.
Fulfilling our duties. Like Rebecca was saying, she feels like her ancestors paved the road and she's supposed to pick up where they left off. If she feels that this is her duty, then then you honoring where your duties, you're fulfilling the area in which you feel you're supposed to serve. So that makes sense, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a natural process that, we interact with the oxygen we breathe. It's part of our our family code, which you know, our humanness. You know, it's part of being human that we want to be treated like everybody else. And so I'm not waiting for other people, or a group or people in our communities are not waiting. Mexican and Black folks aren't waiting for white folks to give us permission to get equal justice. We're going to go and stand up for it, if you will.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay.
Works for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Let's see. We lost our reader. Okay, so if they are in a supervisory position, they do not wait for others to remind them about their responsibilities. If they are the ones being supervised, they do not need to be constantly told how to do their job. And of course, they will not expect the government to tell them it is time to fertilize their vegetable or their vegetable garden, nor will they expect decrees that require them to educate or improve themselves. So it sounds like these are people who are taking responsibility for their lives and what's going on around them. That's what this sounds like. Just what we were talking about, being responsible, to owning where we are. By strengthening their own freedom to learn, to improve themselves, and to help others by means of total devotion to the worthy endeavors that society has entrusted to them. Everything they do is blessed and begins to produce substantial prosperity and spiritual growth in their daily lives. Any comment?
Nope.
Where are we at?
Such followers.
Oh, okay. Such students of the master.
That's the last one. The
Yeah.
last, yeah.
I see it.
But we just read the one above. So you got anything you want to add to that?
You know, I have to say sometimes we don't, we have to go through our own growth, whether it be whatever way, spiritual, no matter what.
Well, that's true.
Before we have some sense of compassion or understanding, you know, for the need or for the help, whatever it might be. But anyway,
Mhm.
that's my thought.
Well, you know, God, from what we've been reading, God is not going to judge me according to what my mother say or my father say. It's what I did. It's my own thoughts and behaviors and, you know, whatever came out of my mouth. You judge by according to your own heart and your life, not by words of others. And
Yes.
that's
All that stuff, we have to either live it or learn it or be taught it, because I don't think any of us are here and go unscathed without going through something somehow, some way.
absolutely
That's the whole point.
right. Right. So yeah, everybody has to learn. Everybody. Okay, you got one more, Sonia.
Such followers of the gospel, such students of the master, become attentive workers, entering in a glorious silence the sublime ranks of the heavenly apostle. Am I done?
Hmm.
Oh, apostolate, sorry. That's it.
Well, yeah, I have a question.
Bubby.
And it's, well, it was like, what duties do we believe we have received? Rebecca expressed hers. Being attentive to the lesson of truth and devoted to good work. What do you guys, how do you see that in your life?
Well, I guess I see that as everybody has a role in their family. So
Okay.
whether you're aware of it or not, you have a role. So I think that's no different than coming together with groups and stuff, and everybody has their strengths and everybody has their fears and everybody has, but nonetheless together you still make a group or a team or whatever the strengths you bring. So I don't know, I just think that there's more to be done together than not, but it doesn't mean it's impossible.
Yeah, I think you hit on it. It's being there for your family, and your family doesn't always mean that they are blood. You know, it's whatever you created as a family.
I don't know, but your lessons are there, shoot.
They're definitely there, no matter what group you are in, or whether it's blood family or spiritual family, or I don't care if it's a classroom. There's something, you know, there's growth, and it's always a lesson. But and for me, I think mine is I guess being where I am, doing what I'm doing here in this spiritual community and in my family. As I can be a force to reckon with in my family sometimes. At least they act like I can.
No.
Are you the wise woman? Are you the wise woman in the family?
Only Kalia thinks I'm smart.
I think you're exceptionally smart. That's funny.
She thinks I'm wise or something like that.
You are. You talk to her about God and nature and life and big ideas, you know, and you answer her.
Yeah, I do.
You answer and you give her great information. She's a very sweet little girl.
Yeah.
But I think everybody has something to give.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really do. Even if they are not aware of it, you know, because sometimes people aren't. They're not aware of how they affect others and how important they are into, you know, their family. So, you know, like my sister who adopted 8 of her grandchildren and took them all on. And, you know, I don't care if you're the child care person, that's an important role, in my opinion. That's a very important role. And I think that your Constitution is amazing to deal with a whole bunch of kids.
Definitely, you're creating human beings, you know,
and working with their minds. I mean, to listen
right.
to all that noise and that crying and that thumping, and boy.
Takes a special person.
It
That's
does.
correct. It does.
And I think they worked very hard to be that caretaker and it not bother them. I think that to me is amazing work. That's amazing.
It is. Yep.
Yeah. Very
Wow.
special. Very, very special.
Did she have children? Oh, they were her grandchildren, so obviously she did have children.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Her daughter had 11, so she had 8 of them. And then she took on one great grandchild, and that's Kalia.
A woman deserves a few medals.
Oh, she's over it now. She
Yeah,
is
yeah.
checked.
She's done. I did my bit. I fulfilled my commitment, and now I'm out.
Yeah, but I have to keep her in check sometimes.
Okay.
You still their mother, no matter what. You can't go too far. You can be the
That's
mother.
right.
Yeah, it's fun. It's some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, ladies, we did it. It's been an
Did it?
interesting little session here today. Who wants to do our closing prayer?
Go on, Becky.
Oh, I can't. I got a child on my foot right now. Fell asleep. I'm trying to see this.
Oh, that's too funny. Okay, Sonia and Valerie, one of y'all, because I did the opening.
Go ahead, Sonia.
Most Heavenly Father, our blessed Mother, thank you for bringing us, our minds together to expand our knowledge, plant the seeds of knowledge, of truth, so that we may be able to grow and be also in service to others, but not only that, to be instruments and teachers to those that we love, especially our little ones. And we ask for your ongoing blessings, divinity, peace, love, that we may continue to come together in your name to learn, love, and grow. And with so much love and gratitude, we close our study session for this evening. And so be it, and so it is.
There it is.
So be it.
Thank you, Sonia.
Dang, I've never read this much, Gina.
Well, look, nobody worked harder than Christ. I just say that.
There
Nobody.
you